All right, y'all. Gonna make a 30-minute video on commodities, Bitcoin, futures, a little bit of everything. Bitcoin, this is January weekly futures. You've had accumulation for the last 3 weeks. If you see this red line, it's going up. That's commercial money, big money, smart money. The public's selling. This green line is coming down over the last week. Um, your hedge fund money's coming down. So they've been selling a little bit also. Um, you still rallied higher. So once again, your smart money usually wins. So my bet is still to the upside, um, at least for now. Anyway, we could clear your previous highs. It could be going to 48, 50, 51,000. Is what it looks like to me. But so now if you go to symbolic.com, you're on a 4 count on your TD sequential continuation. You've already hit your 9 weekly. You got your sell, your weekly sell set up perfection, but you know you came down for 1 week 2.6%, and then you just kept rallying to the upside. This week was a pretty strong. You're up 14.5% on Bitcoin already. So my guesstimation is my bet's still to the upside until this breaks this trend line right here. You could draw a weekly trend line right there, or if it closes below 35, technically you go to a daily, I guess. And it may not load exactly the way it's supposed to because it never does. It won't work. You gotta drag it over. Come on, symbolic. Why you gotta be a pain in the butt, bro? Here we go. Okay. So this says if Bitcoin closes below, what the heck is that? 43,355. If it closes below that on a daily basis, now you do have your 13 count. Could complete the 9 count, 3 more days up. And then I would expect some kind of small correction, um, possibly till around the 15th of December. Could be around that Christmas week. A lot of times you'll get some kind of rally on stocks and everything on Christmas. Let me look at the dollar index while I'm here. Let's see, weekly, and of course it won't load. Here we go. All right, maybe we'll get it work. See, the dollar index is on a -6, 6 weeks down. I mean, it's been over 6 weeks, but technically it's on a 6 count, -6 is what I call it. It rallied this week almost 1%. I would anticipate it to pull back 2 or 3 weeks, maybe around this 102 zone, bottom of the cloud, Ichimoku setting. That's what we needed to do. Now it did rally, so technically that's not a price bar flip yet. But if you get another close above, you'd have to close above this 103.795. If next week closes above that, you'll get a 1 bar going to the upside. If you get that, you could be in an uptrend for a while. We haven't technically broken this weekly trend line. Doesn't look like you come close to it right here, but I think you're still below it. Looks like. I guess I could draw a trend line on it. Takes a little time to do that, but let's just go there to right there. Yeah, you're still below it, so you're good. I wouldn't worry about it on this thing. And All right, let's get to the next one. Wheat. This is March wheat. Yeah, battery's getting weak. We're gonna have to hurry on this one. So wheat, you've got the commercials are in the sell zone below the buy zone. Let's put it that way. Now you're only on week 2 of the rally, so this could still continue up. Your hedge funds are buying. They like to play momentum. So theoretically, it could still go up for 7 more weeks if it wants to. You're in a decent seasonal time frame, so I don't see any problem with it. It most likely keeps going to the upside. Gold, I'd be careful on gold. Commercials are out. Hedge funds are buying, so you want to bet against your hedge funds. Your commercial, your public money is getting pretty heavily interested. That's probably why it came down 10% this week. They're going to shake the public out. They're going to most time your hedge funds are going to be wrong too. I mean, they dollar cost average, so they still make money on a relative small basis. But as long as you got commercial money on the sell zone down here, I wouldn't mess with it. That's just my opinion. But let's see. Let's go to silver. Same way. Silver's in a sell zone on commercial. Copper, it's middle of the road. You can't really take that trade right there if it's with that kind of setup. So I'd be careful with copper or silver. Now your Dow Jones futures, they're still accumulating. They're still buying. This is your continuous Dow Jones futures. You had a pretty good little pullback here. Looks like little 4-week pullback. You're getting in a seasonal time frame. What is this? October. I don't think that's October. That doesn't look right. I don't know about that. We may need to refresh that one. Reload that. That doesn't look right. All right, let's go to live cattle. Live cattle, the money's still in. This is on February cattle. Big money still in. Your small speculators still heavily invested. You're on a minus 10 weeks of down action. You're coming up on a seasonality, December 15th. We should see a rally. I'm thinking at least in the next week or two. I would almost guarantee, you can't guarantee anything, but live cattle should bounce. I'm thinking sometime next week. If I was betting, now you had another down week, 2% down. I thought you'd hold the bottom of this cloud. It didn't do it. Probably your next support zone is 155.65. Looks like you got to buy perfection. Most time, if you don't get your next bar rally, I've seen a real high percentage of the time your next bar, which would be next week, you should get some kind of rally. Can't guarantee it. There's no guarantee in this business, but probability says you should get a live cattle rally in the next at least week or 1 to 2 weeks. Like I said, I can't guarantee it. Not financial advice. None of this financial advice. It's educational purposes only. So you do your own research, put on your big boy pants, and you make the bet. You lose the money. It's your problem, not mine. It's just the way it is in this business. All right, we got crude oil. It's set up pretty good. You're in the buy zone. I mean, it's not maxed out yet, but it's pretty decent setup. Your best, I think your best setup is actually on corn. If you had to pick one out of the whole, commodity setup, you're on a -7 here, so that could come down for 2 more weeks on crude oil. I'm thinking somewhere around this 66.98, maybe 67. Let's look at that. Let's look at wheat in case my battery dies. Uh, Not wheat. Yeah, wheat. Wheat's on a +2 weekly. Coming off this 913, you got accumulation. Commercial money's in. Now commercial is starting to sell off, so they're already taking profits for some reason. So I don't know. Now we go to corn. Corn's on a what they call a price bar flip. You're on a 1 week of up action. It's bottomed out off of this support zone 472. I could retest it, but if you look at the daily chart, they already have a buy signal. I actually should have bought it December 4th when it got above this light blue line. That's the will stop. If you have access to that, usually a decent time to buy. As long as it holds this support zone, I'd say around 482.1, maybe even 480.3. That's probably where I'd put my stop loss if I was going to trade it. And I may trade some Sunday or Monday at the latest. So yeah, I mean it's kind of trading sideways. So most likely they're accumulating. It went up. It's making a nice little flag pattern on a daily chart. So good odds this should break on up to the upside. I don't know how far it'll go, but it's got good odds on it. It's got the best odds set up. I like the live cattle, but until live cattle gets on a daily buy signal, you really don't want to gamble and take that kind of risk, in my professional opinion. And that's coming from my mentor too. That's 60 years, 61 years experience. So until live cattle gets above 170, you really don't want to be a buyer, or at least gets a price bar flip. This could come down another 4 days, and then it could rally. Most likely it rallies, but you don't want to guess. You want to play. If you start playing crystal ball, most time you're going to be wrong 99% of the time. So it's better to wait for confirmation. Let's go into natural gas. It's got a good setup. It's in the buy zone. You got soybean meal. I stay away from that. You might short it, but you're late to the party. You should have shorted back November 15th, 17th. Like I said, corn looks really good. It's in the buy zone. They sold off a little last week. The commercials took a little profit, so be careful with that when you see that. Now your hedge funds they're accumulating. Your public selling also. They're still overbought, but on the corn market. And then your bond market, you've got commercials are starting to accumulate still. You had a big accumulation here. You got your rally. They sold off. So it may lose some momentum, some steam. You still got your hedge funds in, but they started to sell off too last week. So be careful on the bond market. Shows a seasonality time frame, December 15th as a short-term top. Could come down till February 23rd, the week of that. And then you got a pretty good rally point till sometime in August. It's a good seasonality sweet spot for bonds, but no guarantee it's going to work. But this can still keep going on bonds. This kind of economy, I don't think it's a bad idea. Now, if the Fed raises sometime this spring, it could make bonds go down. So that could be your dip down into about middle of February. If the Fed starts raising rates in January, February, it could definitely cause a sell-off in bonds. Could cause a sell-off on the stock market, commodities, everything too if the dollar starts rallying. But I need to have a dollar on here. I can pull it up, but it's going to take too much battery juice to. I could pull it over here. It wouldn't take too much. Let's look at dollar. Do I not have a dollar? Here's dollar index. Let's go weekly. Let's pull the weekly dollar. You need a week dollar. There again, I think we already looked at this, but yeah, the commercial money's out of the dollar. So that's why you got this sell-off pretty much. I mean, starting back October 1st, the week of the 1st was the top. Pretty good sell-off for almost 2 months. I would expect at least another 2 or 3 weeks of downside to the dollar for the dollar. It did rally last week, so it's on high alert. If you get another up week, that could cancel out your downtrend and continue to the upside. But this time of year, you'll get a small pullback usually, probably starting next week on the stock market, be my guess. If you pull up the SPY, I can't type. SPY, yeah, weekly, you're on a 6 with a 10 continuation. That could go to a 13. Yeah, at least 3 more weeks to the upside. Be my bet. Daily, yeah, you got a price bar flip on the S&P. That was December 8th. I guess that was Friday. So that looks pretty good. I would probably bet stock market should go up another 2 or 3 weeks if I was going to guesstimate just off of that right there. I would say pretty good odds. Could even top out on the high of the year. 478, 479 would be my guess on the S&P Spider SPY. Yeah, I think that would be pretty much the high of the year. I think the high was 479.98. Yeah, that's where your resistance is. 478.97 is where I would guesstimate on a weekly resistance level, where it could bump its head on that, come right back down, test the cloud probably, and it's going to zigzag. My favorite mentor is he's going to put out his forecast at the end of December. If you want to subscribe to Larry Williams, go to ireallytrade.com. This guy is phenomenal. I have no idea how he comes up with a forecast for the whole year, but he does, and it's pretty amazing. So it's the best $200 I ever spent. It's $200 for an annual forecast. Gives you a roadmap for the whole year. I wouldn't be caught without it. Personally, I bought it 3 years in a row. Took me a year or two to learn how to read it, but I think it's the best money I ever spent. As far as for $200, I mean, you can literally make that back on one trade. So I think it's money well spent. But I'm going to buy it. I can't show copies of it legally because I don't want to, get sued or whatever for disclosing copyright material. So, I can tell you his feelings are usually to the upside for stocks. Long term, he's thinking we should have a pretty good year. Most of next year, stocks should go up, for the most part. So I highly recommend buying his subscription service. It's called an annual forecast, I think is what he calls it. Williams forecast. ireallytrade.com is his website. So check it out. I highly recommend it. But I highly recommend his commodity course also. If you can get in the next class that he has, if he has one, he's talking about retiring. So if you want to get in and learn how to trade commodities and futures, I highly recommend learning from this man before he retires, because he is a wealth of information that could possibly phase out. I mean, he'll probably still offer his course, but he just may not do live webinars throughout his trading course that he's doing now. But so anyway, I'm going to cut this video. I'm about to run out of battery, so we'll make it a short one this time and catch y'all next week.